Hey, but LSD is a crazy drug. You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
yeah, I hear that. I've never partaken, but
Yeah. I don't know what you've been doing on your pastime, but
maybe that's how
yeah.
you're supposed to watch Uncle Grandpa. I don't know.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad to be able to say and see that they finally added my boy Maui to Overwatch. Fantastic. I see what's happening here, y'all. We're face to face with greatness, and it's strange.
Well, you know what? You know one thing that I noticed. Blizzard likes to take things from other things and put in their games.
Yeah.
They got the dancing pecs.
They got Dwayne on that. No, better yet, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews.
You know
Dancing
what they were
pecs.
doing? You know what they were doing? Half of their dev squad was like, all right, they had a pen and paper and they were just jotting stuff down, and the other half was just replaying over and over that part from White Chicks, the beach scene from White Chicks. That's what the dev team was doing when they made this character. They're like hold that frame right there. Yeah.
I've never seen White Chicks.
Oh yeah. It's well, there there is
Is that a disclaimer? Don't watch that with your kids.
there's yeah, well, yes, definitely don't watch it with your kids. It's not I think it's probably like I mean, I don't think it's rated R. It might be, but it's yeah, it's I mean it has a lot of like mature content in it for sure.
They're pushing boundaries.
Yeah. For yeah, I mean they were dressing up before dress up was cool. So if you catch my drift, but uh, anyways, yeah, Terry Crews, fantastic guy. Likes to peckpock. So I'm excited for this character though, man. For those who don't know who we're talking about, there's a new character that just got dropping. He's a new tank. Round of applause! Round of applause!
Yeah.
Let's go. A new tank dropping. Finally, the tank's getting some love.
Tanks.
Been the worst like role for the past like 3 or 4 seasons. So like literally since Ramatra dropped, tanks have been the worst since then. So I'm fairly certain that was like 4 seasons ago. So, finally tanks are probably going to get a bit of a buff. I think this dude is crazy. From what I've gathered, and right now, the day that we're recording this, there's currently for the next couple of days, there's going to be some sort of like trial period where you can try them out.
You get to try them out for free.
Yeah, which is, I think, a brilliant idea. Yeah. I think it's very smart. So, but guys, welcome back to the Drag as well. Just want to give you guys that brief nugget right quick. Yeah, glad to see Maui. Old Dwayne the Gatling Gun Johnson. So, but welcome back to the Drag as well. I am one of your hosts, Sprites, and I'm joined with me, my good pal, my good friend, Mav3rick. How's it going, Mav3rick?
Oh, sorry, I had to quit laughing.
Oh, I was like, I think Mav3rick's done.
Man, I'm great. It's every time it seems like every time we get on here, we're like, man, we're sorry. One of us was sick. Look, I'm telling you, for those that have never worked in a school before,
yeah,
kids are just nasty.
Look, they're nasty, and they want to be open with their nastiness. Like, they're nasty, and they're like, here, let me hug you.
Yeah.
While you're in the middle of a conversation with somebody else. Like, you're engaged in a conversation with somebody else, and boom, you get hit in the side by somebody trying to give you a hug, which is really endearing until you remove their face from you, and just snot is like connected from you and your pant loop.
Yeah, and apparently with age comes weakness because this sickness has hit me hard this year, man. It's just I can't get my voice back. So if I sound a little
Palpatine, unlimited.
So if you hear me slurping on some coffee, you know it's gonna keep my voice going through this episode.
Dude, I went with the opposite route. Let me I just got to say this. I know we're trying to keep this one a little bit shorter, but the past I don't know why it wasn't like a health thing or anything like that. But just my mind, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm going to cut back on some like things that I'm drinking, right? Because I noticed that I was drinking like a lot of sweet tea and even started to dabble in some. And I rarely drink sodas, but even was starting to become like at least a soda a day, which I don't like, right? I don't like that. So I was like, look, I'm going to have to cut back because it's been a couple weeks and I've been doing this. I'm like, I'm going to have to quit. And so the past 2 days, I have had 0 caffeine, like none, because for some reason, I haven't been also like in the mood for coffee either. So it's like anytime I think about coffee, I'm like,
and it's been cold, and then so that's like perfect coffee drinking weather for people that don't usually
it is,
coffee.
And so my mind is my own worst enemy, man, and I have been getting the worst headaches, and like you're talking crashing. I ain't got no caffeine in me. I have been ruined the past 2 days, and I have no clue why I thought that this would be a smart idea. But hey, here we are.
Look, I ain't giving up coffee. I tried. I gave it up for like 2 weeks. It worked. I mean, it's not like I felt better or anything. You know, I mean, I will drink a Coke a day, something, you know, Dr. Pepper, Coke, something.
Yeah.
You know, but if I don't have to, if I can go without it, it doesn't bother me. Now, coffee.
Yeah. Ooh, gotta get some caffeine.
My family likes me to have coffee.
I'm normally family. The people around me demand that I have coffee for their well-being.
I'm like, Dad's not going to drink coffee. Why are you out? Do we need to go get you some?
I'm
like, calm down. I've got some. I'm just going to take a day off. No, let me make you some.
Paige is the Pentagon going into DEFCON 1. Is it DEFCON 1 or DEFCON 5? Which does it go up or down?
I don't know. That would be a question for one of your relatives.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I don't know. He doesn't know much. But
well, hey, guys, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Dragons W Gaming. Follow us on Facebook, Dragons Well Gaming, and Instagram, Dragons Well Gaming. We are trying to post a little bit more content on both. Twitter, I am blowing Twitter up with news. Been sending, if you've been keeping up with us on Twitter, I've been sending out some Spidey pics that I took in game. Been really enjoying the photo mode. So,
which is just absolutely sick, by the way.
Well,
like the photos have been like legit good.
Well,
if you guys have not went to go see those photos, go drop a like on those photos for sure.
I love the
impressive.
I have one. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this without spoilers. I have one where Spider-Man's using his web wings, and he's kind of like soaring through the city. And I got a side shot of where a bolt of lightning was striking down. Right, not by his head, but in the background, but it's by his head in the picture. And it's just sick looking.
Man. I listen, I have watched very little of Spider-Man, but the very little that I have seen of its gameplay, it is amazing.
Well, look,
I know what to get into, but
the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Sakurai, Mr. Smash Brothers creator himself.
Some people say he's not even real.
I've watched his YouTube videos. He's pretty real. You know, he's got a YouTube channel now. He's been making YouTube channel videos on like how to make video games and.
Well, just like the Apollo moon landing, bro. It's just.
You think it's all fake?
Yeah, he's actually not a real. He's just a Muppet.
It's maybe AI.
Yeah, Sakurai. Dude, that's not even a joke.
Ooh,
that's
Sakurai is AI. AI generated character.
We're going, and listen, after this episode, we're going to become AI if we're not careful with our words.
Hey,
we're going to be taken out.
If as long as they're dropping the money in my bank account, I'm good with it. AI me up, buddy.
AI is so scared. Listen, there have been like legit songs made just from people's voices, and like they auto tuned it and made. It's crazy.
Look,
the stuff that you can do with AI now,
like
ChatGPT,
Keanu from Matrix or something. You know,
it is wild. Like the art. What is that? That's what you envision yourself?
That's what I am in the Matrix. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Keanu.
Completely different from the way I look in real life.
But
I mean, different hair, different colored eyes, everything.
I'm telling you, that's scary. And it's extremely cool what AI is capable of doing. But anybody who's seen Terminator, watch out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hey, Bean, listen, rant of the day right quick, then we'll get back to Sakurai.
Oh no, I got another.
Be nice to Siri, okay? Or one day, your car randomly is just going to take a Yui straight into oncoming traffic, okay? Be nice to Siri.
Okay, so how do I do this?
And for people that don't have Apple, be nice to what is it? Alexa?
Alexa.
Lexi?
Alexa. And then
Tiffany?
Google. You better be nice to Google.
Ashley, for sure they missed out. Who Alexa? They should have named it Ashley, dude. That for sure.
Well, okay, Ashley. Look.
Anyways,
my kid used to we used to have a Google little HomePod thing. I don't think it's called a HomePod. It's a Google I think it was just called Google Home Speaker or something like that. Well, my kid used to love hearing Google's jokes, and I will say, I have an Apple HomePod, like a little HomePod Mini at the house for, just like giving it commands to turn on living room lights and things like that, and playing music or something when we're doing something in the house that I want some background music. And so, doing all that, you get into you can ask it to tell you jokes. Well, man, I'm here to tell you, Siri's jokes suck. They're horrible. They're corny. They're horrible. But you know what's really funny is when you ask it to rap for you. And it came up with a Halloween rap recently. So we discovered this when the new update came out. And Halloween showed up, and we're like, hey, rap for me. And it starts like coming up with these, rhymes essentially is what it is, but it's with the voice. And I thought, man, how awesome would that sound to go in, because you can change the voice. How great would that be? Siri. Oh, hold on. I think I activated it.
Oh. See, always listen and be nice to Siri.
It took me a second to turn it off. So yeah, always listening. So I was like, hey, rap for me. And then, but I changed it. I changed the voice into an Indian voice.
Oh.
It was great.
Yeah?
It was great. It was so great. It was...
Dude,
I can't
hey, listen. I bet it'd be kind of flames, to be honest with you.
Hey, look, I want to now I want to look up some like Indian rappers.
Oh, I'm sure that there's got to be some like solid Indian
that's some legit stuff right there. I was showing my age using those words. People are making fun of me, but
legit stuff.
But no,
What?
in all seriousness, the man, the myth, the legend, right? He says he finishes both Mario Wonder and Spider-Man 2, which I have not. I have not played Mario Wonder. I was finishing Spider-Man 2 first. He says they are both masterpieces. And this is somebody who puts a lot into their game, that they make, and a lot into the, there's a lot that goes into not just the complexity of Smash, but he really does put a lot into the game. And not just that, but the Kirby games he's been involved with and all the other stuff. He really does want you to, when he breaks down the characters, the new Smash characters, he gives background information. I mean, he gives what consoles they were played on and how these people were related to the game. And I mean, he just, you could tell he puts a lot of work into it. So for him to call these two games masterpieces, he says, and this is quote, "I completed Spider-Man 2 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder last night. I don't want the release dates. I don't want the release dates of these big titles to coincide with each other that I need to see. But I thought both were masterpieces that I would recommend to anyone. The games are amazing these days, and I thank you for making them."
That's
a pretty high. I mean, so hats off to you, Sakurai, for confirming that both games are masterpieces. And I have heard Mario Wonder is above, and I know we talked about it last time, but above and beyond any. So they are calling it the best 2D Mario ever made.
Wow! Really?
And yes, and I know I heard that it's fair. Like some of the levels are fairly difficult. I mean, I heard somebody compare it to like one of the levels compared to like they pulled ideas from levels that people were making in Mario Maker. Some of those really fast, high pace,
they're really cool,
hard levels.
Like, yeah. They're like ones where you have to get the jumping just right, or you're gone.
Yeah. So I mean that's awesome. And like I said, I'm gonna be behind on Mario Wonder. Mario RPG comes out in a couple weeks. I'm just gonna try to pick that up. I don't know if I'm going to, or if I'm gonna hold off till like a break or something where I can actually play it. But it comes out on the 17th. But man, I can confirm everything Sakurai says with Spider-Man. I have 100%ed it. I have 90% to platinum. And I wish I would have looked at some of the platinum quests on PlayStation's, quests that they offer to gain platinum, because I think there's some stuff I missed out on that I probably pretty difficult where I am in the game now to go back and do. But I did 100% the game. The fighting's polished. The world's great. It's expansive with the 2 new islands. Had some glitches. So I had 2 major crashes. And then multiple mission selection areas that like I'd have to restart my checkpoint because I'd go to interact with something, and then the interaction button would go, like I would tap it and it would go away, and I could and I could never get it back. Luckily, the checkpoints save early enough to where you're not like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It was like a minute or
like
two
it's
behind.
a pretty frequent like autosave or checkpoint.
And then there was something about a Cuban flag or something that they screwed up on. They put the wrong flag in Miles's house or something like that, so they were fixing that. I did hear that there was a patch come out, and I think they fixed the flag issue and some other little glitches. I did actually see one of our esports kids playing it, and there was a cutscene where Parker is talking to someone, and it's kind of like a big moment in the game, and all of a sudden all of his hair disappeared and he was bald.
Well,
it obviously was a glitch. It's like the game didn't load in all of the memory, or that part of the And I will
Yeah.
say, you know, I'm glad that we're kind of gotten away from pre-rendered cutscenes because, you know, they just don't look as good as, you know, like the game doesn't kind of flow with
Oh,
the
what
cutscene.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
But in an instance like this, you know, a pre-rendered cutscene could have solved that problem. You know, it
Well, and
would.
I'm sure the rendering, I'm sure you can make it look still really nice right now. Like in today's, like, with today's capabilities, I'm sure you can make the videos look really nice.
Well, and but like
Like
I said, I
even
mean
even
it.
with them being pre-rendered, you could probably still make them look incredible.
Even with the glitches and stuff that I had, you know, I 100%ed it. I got all the upgrades, all the suits. I think there were 68 suits or something like that total. And each,
Whoa, what?
yeah, I mean each suit. So you know, Miles has his own set of suits. Parker has his own set of suits, but then you also get
Oh,
renditions of
together.
each suit. So like one suit may have like four different color changes to that suit. So not only do you get a suit, but you get like three other renditions of that suit with the
Yeah,
color changing
yeah.
and stuff. And so that was
Okay,
pretty
gotcha. That
neat.
makes sense.
Not a spoiler, kind of spoiler. Mysterio. There's I don't remember if it's a side quest. I think it's a side quest.
Man, they got a lot of like supervillains in there, huh?
Yeah, Mysterio's in it, and the cool thing about that is it's kind of like a Miles side quest, and so when you finish that set of side quests, you get this like Miles, Spider-Man, Mysterio, DJ kind of like costume because Miles wants to go be I think he's going to school to be a music engineer.
Look at Miles go. That's cool. That's so weird. And I don't get me wrong. I understand. Like Peter was like what, a teacher?
No, he was a student. He was going to go into some form of science.
Oh, okay.
You know, he was going to get his you know, because
Because
he's kind of like a what do you call it? Oh, I can't think of the phrase. But he's good at a lot of stuff. You know, he's good at biology, and I mean he's a science major is essentially what it is.
yeah, yeah.
Technology and
He
science major.
yeah. You talking about STEM, like
Yeah.
the STEM field? Yeah. No, yeah. And that's what I just saw a clip that looked like he had a job somewhere.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Try
So
not to spoil too much,
yeah, no,
but it
this
looked
this isn't.
he was like a professor or teacher or something like that,
It's
just like as a maybe like a sub position or something.
it's not a spoiler. So at the very very beginning of the game, I mean, if you hadn't seen clips of the beginning, you know, I'm sorry. But he is a school teacher at Miles' school of all places, and there's this really funny clip at the very beginning because they start seeing sand because you know the Sandman is at the very beginning. The best intro in a video game in a long time. Like the whole the what do you call it? The not training, but the tutorial mission that you get in
Yeah,
most games. Like the first Spider-Man, it was taking down the Kingpin. I mean, that was the very first mission of the game. That was what taught you how to play the game. So it taught you how to swing through the city because you're like the helicopters are flying it through and the cop cars are you know, and I mean it showed off what the game could do, but then it also turned around and showed, you know, it showed you how to play. So there was a point where he like goes through a pipe, you know, he shoots his webs and he pulls himself through a pipe. He's laying flat and he kind of shoots out the pipe and then he starts webbing and then you fight the Kingpin. I mean, that's your first. That's
man,
your
really, like your
tutorial
tutorial.
boss fight. Yeah. So in this one, the tutorial boss fight is Sandman, and so
Mm.
as you get closer to Sand, or there's this clip where you know Miles is like he stands up and he goes bathroom, and you know Parker kind of looks at him and he snickers and he's like, oh okay, and he runs to the bathroom And then Miles runs back into the classroom. He's like, Mr. Parker, I need your help. And of course, all the kids laugh because, he's supposed to be going to the bathroom or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, that's not something you can handle on your own. And he goes, no, I need help.
Yeah, I'm gonna need your help on this one.
Yeah. And so, but
that's one of my favorite things about, dude. I love the Spider-Man universe because of that. Like, man, they bring that level of like wittiness and energy, like that. There's a lot of like Marvel, or there's a lot of superhero in general that just don't have that. You know what I mean? That like kind of like lightheartedness in the midst of like very dire situations.
Well, and this game,
that's kind of what they bring. You know what I mean? And it's like you think about like X-Men. The vast majority of the time, you're not, when you think of X-Men, you don't think of like snarky wittiness. You know what I mean? Like except you think of it's like, yeah, except for Gambit, yeah, or a little bit with like between Scott and Logan. The banter between them two, but for the most part, it's like you really like it's a gritty, which it's not supposed to be, but it's not supposed to be witty and like charming in a way. Right. It's supposed to be gritty, right? Because genocide's happening on one side, and the difference between the two. But like with a lot of superheroes, you don't really like outside of maybe Iron Man, right? Iron Man you get, and maybe that's which Tony, that character is supposed to be like that, but it just got bolstered with the performance from Robert Downey Jr. That made him even wittier, and known for being witty. So it's like outside of those, those movies that you see Iron Man in and having conversations with, I mean, you don't really have a lot of like superheroes that are bringing you the energy and the comedic value that Spider-Man brings you.
Well, and I think that's kind of what hurt the Marvel universe. I think there was a point where, because Thor, the first Thor movie, for example, was not. I mean, it had a little bit of humor in it. Just Loki caused a little bit of humor, but the second one they opened up a little more humor, and then of course the third one was just all it was to humor. I mean, and that's where you kind of
see it doesn't really work with Thor very much,
right? And because, so that's where
he can be, but for the most part, that's not him.
Well, I think that's where the downfall was, and it just they tried to make everything Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like yeah, which works. See, that's actually a better example. That's something that works off of humor in the midst of dire situations because they're meant to. Peter Quill's supposed to be goofy and kind of like unprepared in a lot of situations, and so because they're supposed to be like this motley crew of like weirdos that overcome these incredible odds, and so which just makes you love them even more. And see, that is a superhero that has, or those are heroes that have charm to them. Where like Thor, his appeal is in his rugged, manly demigod demeanor,
right?
And the way he carries himself, and the way and a lot of his comedic value comes from, really just comes from the difference between Asgard and Earth, and the way that they're so different. And so him just learning those things was funny. But like the character himself is really not funny, right? Same with like Captain America. He's really not, because he's supposed to be serious.
Yeah.
And this leader role. And so that has always been the reason why I've loved Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, by the way, if you don't know. He's always been my favorite superhero just because I feel like Spider-Man, first off, also the villains. Like, tell me another franchise that has like better villains than like very few other superheroes have better villains
I really liked the
than
X-Men
Spider-Man.
villains, and and here's what Marvel did. Marvel gave away all their franchises that had the best villains.
Oh, this is a good topic. I like this topic.
I mean, they really did, because they gave away the X-Men, and they gave away Spider-Man.
X-Men had some pretty good. So what villains does X-Men have? They got.
I mean, well, they've got anything from like Wolverine's past, so Sabretooth. You got Omega Red.
Sabretooth's cool. Omega Red's cool.
You've got X-Force.
Magneto is pretty sick.
I mean, you got
Magneto's cool, but he's such a dynamic character too.
Mr. Sinister.
Like, he's not like actually okay. Yeah. See, that one's one that like is not as well known, but yes,
Well, see, if you're a child of the '90s,
yeah,
and you watch the '90s X-Men animated series, the best X-Men animated series.
Oh, yeah, and that one was like legit too. Like I don't think people were getting murked in that one. People weren't dying in that one, but like it was like they would take L's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I mean it really was a darker kind of.
Yeah, that one was like it would come on later at night.
And for some reason, I watched it on Saturday mornings.
Oh really?
Yeah.
It would always wake me up, and I would watch it like early in the morning.
Well, Marvel had to compete with things like Batman the Animated Series, which was darker and grittier than So I mean, and then Disney had Gargoyles, and so I mean, it was a lot of really good stuff.
Dude, maybe that's why all these parents are so edgy now, man. They just grew up on edginess.
No, all the parents nowadays grew up on Teletubbies.
I mean, come on, that's apples and oranges. You're not. If you're watching Teletubbies at the age where you should be watching Gargoyles.
Hey, look, I will say I hate all new cartoons, but I think the most realistic cartoon these days is Bluey. I mean, if you want to have children. If you are looking to have kids, if you're that age and you and your wife are thinking about having a family and having children, you need to turn on an episode of Bluey and watch that and look at those people's car and realize that is what your car is destined to look like. And your house is destined to look like.
Look, Bluey will do something else for you as a parent. Bluey will humble you so fast at the fact that your parenting skills need some work. Like the fact that they play and go through the extent that they do for their kids, I'm like, dude, I don't have half of that energy. Well, like, where are they getting this energy? And I mean, obviously they're cartoons, but I'm like, good night.
I mean, the parents don't.
And then apparently, I guess both of them are supposed to have jobs. I don't know what they do.
And the kids are like, "Hey, Dad, do you want to play keepy uppy with me?" I'm like, "No, Daddy's keepy uppy all he can today. When my back hurts."
Listen, my daughter does the same thing. She's like, Dad, hey, and I'm like, do you think I'm Bandit, ma'am? Like, do you think does Mom look like Chili to you? Huh? Which, by the way, they have fantastic names. But yes.
Oh yeah, no.
But here's one thing that, like, you're right. Here's one thing that, like, modern dude. There's so many shows that all the shows out there now just lack substance, man. They don't lack a depth to them, and a lot of those stories. I mean, just think. I'm thinking of like so many right now that are darker and grittier, but they had substance to them. They were mature cartoons. Right, we're not talking like mature as in like an anime mature, because anybody who's ever watched anime knows like animes can be fairly mature. Well, anybody who says animes for kids, first off, don't let your kids watch most anime.
Yeah, I mean, watch it first.
The vast majority of them are saturated in fan service, so
yeah. Well, here's what I'll say to that also, and this is one thing that anime still does to this day that other cartoons do not. even as far back as the 80s, I mean, there was a significant line. This is good. This is evil. These characters look good. These characters look evil. There was a fine line between good and evil, right and wrong. And that line has been blurred so bad that now
like a modern anime, is that what you're saying?
No. That's what I'm saying. Anime still does a good job of that. Like, you look at, oh man.
No, I mean, yeah. There's all sorts of. I mean,
you take Demon Slayer.
The newer
for
ones
example.
right now. Yeah, you got Demon Slayer. You got JJK.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the villains from the good guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's so many, like, even say something like Naruto, right? Naruto has some fantastic villains. Like Pain is one of the coolest villains when you actually realize that a lot of what Pain was doing is justifiable, and a lot of what Pain is doing is, not only justifiable might not be the right word, but understandable, right? It's relatable because he's like, look, my village and my home was burned to the ground by you guys, and so if the story was about Pain, we would be rooting for him to destroy that village.
Right?
You're like, yeah, that's the bad village, but since the story is centered around the Hidden Leaf, we're like, hey, the Hidden Leaf's the savior and the heroes, and anybody who tries to destroy it must be a bad guy. Right. And Pain's like, yo, I'm a victim way before you guys were victims. Mm-hmm. You guys started this mess,
Well, and that's what I like.
And
that's what I like.
He's
about
like, what about my
though?
family? What about my and it really made you think and realize that when it comes to war, when it comes to good and evil, there are fine lines, and there are things that are obviously morally good, and then there are some things that are morally bankrupt. But on the flip side, there's still a lot of gray area when it comes to good guys and bad guys.
Right.
Right. Anime brings out this dynamic that it's a lot more complicated than just black and white. Though it's easy to see what's the black and white. As you get into it, and the more in depth you go, depending on the anime you're watching, by the way, but the more in depth that they go with these characters, the more you realize, hey, it's not as black and white as it may have seemed.
Yeah,
like we could see it, but we understand both sides of it now.
Well, and I think having depth is fine, but it just seems that I don't know. It's like it's almost like it's confusing kids to a point to where and I'm not talking about anime, I'm talking about just nowadays cartoons and stuff. You don't know. I don't know, man. It just
I mean, a lot of a lot of cartoons nowadays once again lack substance in that, like, they don't build upon the previous episodes.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so like,
for sure,
there's not like a storyline or anything that they're following. So it's like, and that I think is just catering to this culture that we've developed when it comes to like very limited brain power, right, or focus, right? Like everything's extremely instant, right? So you have, you have things like Snapchat, which is like people send. I've literally seen teenagers send Snapchats of their like half of their face, like out of pure instinct up there at the school. Well, like they get a snap, they click it really quickly. Like it's just a brief moment of just a picture of just a random, like somebody could send a picture of like their toe, and they're like, oh, look at that toe, click. And then they just send a picture of like half of their face or like the ceiling. And they're not even saying anything. They're just click, send back. And I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
TikTok, you got things like TikTok that are, it's just like extremely addictive, but it's just like you're just scrolling and it's like 10 seconds here, 10 seconds there, 10 seconds,
It's mind.
And so everything's so, everything is very much so like, developing this way about us that is I don't know the right. I don't think there is a right word that like describes
kind of like
all of it. But
it's so you don't focus on one thing for too long, because if you focus on one thing for too long, you actually start to process and think about it, and these things don't want you to do that, because the more clicks, the more likes, the more things that happen in those brief seconds.
I mean,
then that's more money for
the cartoons that were dropped back in like back in the 90s, or back in like even the early 2000s. Dude, some of the cartoons that I grew up on were incredible.
So
like, I mean, we're talking, Teen Titans, bro. Teen Titans was fantastic, gritty. Yeah. I mean, it was gritty. I mean, there was some even the art style is gritty.
Well, that was coming off of Batman,
like
the
Batman
series, and then Batman and Robin happened, and then and then they tied in from Batman and Robin. They changed the format a little bit. They changed the art style a little bit, and it was even darker for the Batman the animated series. And I don't remember. I think it was just Batman. I think it was still Batman the animated series. It was season 4. And so they changed the art style, but they changed the art style so that it would match the Superman art style of the time. Because, you had Superman, which was bright and lighter, and then you had the dark side of Gotham, and then you brought them together. And then Teen Titans kind of used a similar art style for that. And then, but, like the kids and I were watching, when I finished Spider-Man, they had not gotten enough Spider-Man. So I'm like, hey, let's go on Disney Plus. I don't know why I still have this, but I'm glad I do, because I have, actually, I think I bought this on Apple. So I think we were watching it on iTunes or whatever. And we were watching the 90s Spider-Man, the animated series.
Yep.
And so we started watching.
Which is another good one.
Yeah. And so, they're like, oh, that's the lizard. But the episodes continued and continued and continued. And then they started to see. Yeah, they built upon the story. And they never finished that.
I didn't know that.
They had like the Spider-Verse or whatever, because they had all the Spider-Man come together, and then it was Madam Web and the Beyonder, and they had to all the Spider-Man had to fight the Beyonder, and they never finished the series, man, and it's just like, and that kind of sucked, but
well, like, I mean, dude, there's so many. Like, I don't know if you remember this one, and this one didn't have as many times that they built upon each other, but there was still a lot of episodes that did. Like, even something like The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, right?
Oh, yeah,
very dark, really very weird, very weird show, but it was still a great one, right? You had things like Code Names Kid Next Door.
Yeah,
I can never say that right. Right, you had things like Static Shock. You remember Static Shock?
Oh yeah, that was a DC character.
So good. You know what I mean? Like, you have all these really awesome shows that a lot of them are darker and grittier, but built upon themselves.
Yeah.
And really gave us something where, like, the writing was good. There was some cheesy lines, yes, but you had all of these awesome shows to watch, and then, it just kind of fell off, and then you start getting stuff like The Amazing World of Gumball, which at times there was actually like a few comedic, or like Flapjack, or like another one. Have you ever seen
Chowder?
Uncle Grandpa?
Oh no.
What the heck is that?
I saw that and I was like, why?
What
is he riding a tiger with a rainbow shooting out of the tiger's backside?
And then there was a pizza with some shades on, and I'm like, sir, what kind of acid trip were you on? And how did you get everybody on that same trip with you?
These should have been 70s cartoons.
Dude. It's just, but
Hey, look! But while we're griping about things, I do.
Hey, but LSD is a crazy drug. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I hear that. I've never partaken.
Yeah, I don't know what you've been doing on your pastime, but
maybe that's how you're supposed to watch Uncle Grandpa. I don't know.
boy, I
Don't
feel
don't
like I mean,
fans, please don't watch Uncle Grandpa, and please don't do it on acid.
yeah, yeah.
Words spoken true from the dragon's well.
Words from the dragon's well, don't you dragons?
Well,
especially if you're gonna watch Uncle Grandpa.
Look, man, I have a video game gripe, and it's been eating at me. We talked about Metal Gear last time, and the trilogy came out on Switch. It came out on PlayStation. It came out on various consoles. And I think it was just PlayStation and Switch. I don't think it went to Xbox. I think it was only a Sony and Switch thing. But now, in the game's credits, they're still mentioned. But in the new credits, where they basically say, this is the revision, this is the, this is what we, you were giving all these thanks to the people who made this happen. Hideo Kojima and David Hayter are not in the credits. And I cannot tell you how bad that angers me, because without David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake,
yep,
and the creator Kojima, which I know there was some Konami and Kojima had a falling out. I understand that.
Yeah, I heard they were cousins.
But it did say that his name did appear in the games themselves, but not in the new end credits for the games. Now, these games would not exist without them. And this is a problem that Kojima should have addressed. Because I think that's kind of garbage if that didn't happen. Now,
when you make something and then you don't even get credit for it, it's kind of ridiculous.
Well, and that's the thing. These games wouldn't exist without Kojima. Now, Kojima did create his own studio. He partnered with Sony. And because they had a falling out in I think he left in October of 2015, and he went on to create his own studio. Like I said, he partnered with Sony, and they announced Death Stranding. Now, Death Stranding, I think, has made pretty decent money. I hear it's a okay game. I don't know. I know it's pretty weird. They featured the trailer with Norman Reedus. Norman Reedus is the main character in the game. So old Daryl himself, zombie slaying Daryl. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is like super cool to see him kind of like animated that way.
Well, but did you ever play Death Stranding? Have you ever played it?
So I've never played it, but I've watched a little bit of gameplay on it. And first off, it looks like it's cool. Like it looked like it played fairly good.
The Matrix baby thing creeps me out, man. I just don't know if I can play it.
Yeah, the baby, dude. Listen, I was so confused as what that was.
I mean, is that like Norman Reedus's battery?
Well, what kind of battery would we call that? It's a double B.
Double baby.
A double baby.
Double baby.
Or a single. That'd be a single B.
Single B. Yeah. Single B.
Bro, what would happen if you like change that out? Gotta get a new baby?
I guess. I don't know. All I know is there's something that like kind of chases you, and it's. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's after.
Yeah, it looks
Reedus, or if it's after the baby, or what. I don't know, man. And then they had Miles Mickelson. I think he's the bad guy. So Hannibal himself.
Dude, it's so wild to like. I'm scrolling through right now, like some of the. It's crazy to see his face like animated like that. It's like, I mean, that's him.
Oh yeah, I mean they did a perfect job,
dude. That's insane that you could just get your face like that.
And
can you imagine? Listen, I know this is such a weird statement that I'm about to make, but can you imagine like our forefathers like being animated into a game and like seeing themselves in a game, and they're like, "What is going on, dude?" somebody would be put to the stake immediately for being a witch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
110%. It is about to be Salem all over this place.
So okay, this game is set in an apocalyptic United States because it's always apocalyptic.
Yeah. USA.
Where the cataclysmic event is known as Death Stranding, it caused. Really? So the invisible creatures originating from the beach lands through.
Always thought the beach was our enemy.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I mean, so we can't do our zombie plan because that's where the. Okay, so here's what they're called. They're called beached things.
I feel like that sometimes after Mexican food. I'm not gonna lie.
Tex-Mex.
I like, dude. After a solid chips and salsa, dude, I feel like a beached whale.
Well, then I've got tamales at the house. Mom brought tamales. Tamales. I got me some tamales and some hot sauce.
Hey, you wanna look like a whale tonight?
I'm going to.
Come over to my house.
Well,
what did we just do?
I don't know. Whoops.
Yeah, we just broke out in the most random. Hey, no regrets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
no regrets.
But and going on gripes. Look, I'm on a roll tonight, man. I got tons to gripe about.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, I have none to gripe about, which
that's
is
awesome.
Kind of weird.
That's a little weird. I mean, we kind of reversing roles tonight.
Yeah.
But this Metal Gear thing, it kind of triggered me, and I'm going to tell you another thing that triggered me. And I'm going to tell you, if you play Spider-Man, if you enjoy Spider-Man, enjoy it. It's a really good game. There is tons of woke stuff in it. Side missions full of woke. One of the main story parts woke. And it could have been such a cool part. I mean, it's woke. I don't understand. I don't understand why, like, what the purpose was of the things that they changed, the decisions that they made for the game, for those side missions that made the game woke. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
What is this add to the game?
Right. Nothing. It adds nothing to the game. I mean, so that's I'm gonna leave it at that. Just for those that don't want your kids playing anything and seeing anything woke, that where they're pushing woke agenda down your throat.
I set your alarm clock because it's woke.
It is woke.
Right.
It is a full woke moon. Spider-Man's got some of it in it, and I hate that because I feel like they did confirm that Wolverine, the Wolverine game that's coming out, is built in the same universe as Spider-Man. So
that's cool.
Watch out, wokelings. Wolverine's coming for you. It's getting late. I think I'm getting tired.
Listen, if they make Logan woke, it's all over.
I feel like Logan would probably I don't see Logan putting up with that.
Dude, there ain't no way. That dude is casually just knifing people for fun. Well, not necessarily fun, but I mean, just like, I didn't know this, and maybe this is just because I'm not well read on like comics and whatnot, but I didn't know every time that his claws come out, it's like excruciatingly painful.
Well, yeah. I mean, but the thing is yes, it hurts, but it heals right back up because of his. Yeah. I mean, that was never his. So I think later in the comics they did say that he had bones there that came out, and that's that was when thing. No, it wasn't just that, it was his healing factor. I mean, his mutant ability is his healing factor.
Oh, he always had. I thought for some reason I thought when he got what is it, vibranium? No, what is that?
No, it was adamantium.
That is adamantium,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
vibraniums.
yeah.
Wrong
Vibranium
universe.
was the
Um,
stuff in Wakanda.
yeah, Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Forever.
No.
But yeah. So with adamantium, for some reason I thought that was like with when all of the stuff was being done to him. That's when I thought that he was given that healing factor.
No, 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 no. So he had his healing factor. That's how he survived the adamantium
So
process.
how come he began to spoilers? How come he began to like lose his healing factor? What happened?
Um,
Like
I
in
think it.
have you ever seen?
I
Did you
think
see
it
Logan?
was. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I saw Logan, but I mean, I think so. There's a comic book series that Logan was kind of like loosely based off of. It's called Old Man Logan, and I don't remember exactly what happens, but he does start to lose it, and when he does lose it, he begins to age really fast. Well, not fast, but I mean faster than he was aging, and because I mean he's older than all of the X-Men, even Professor X. But because of his
Yeah.
healing factor, he looks younger than. So it he does eventually begin to lose it, and I don't know if it was. I don't think it was an age thing, but man, Old Man Logan, the comics are so good. I mean, it's obviously better than the
I mean,
movie, but
I know he was a beast though when he was. I mean, he was always a beast, but like
oh
I think he's a lot more ruthless the older he got because he just couldn't play around anymore. You know, it was like strictly business because things actually like hurt him.
oh yeah
Like,
yeah yeah, and then when the claws came out, it was more, um, it was so.
it's like
Okay,
more.
in Logan, it was adamantium poisoning.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
wait, but so that stopped his healing factor because I thought his healing factor would override that.
So,
So, like, that's the whole reason why he was able to survive it to begin with, right? According to what you just said.
yes, but I think over time the poison began to like, I guess become harder for his healing factor to take. Um,
Man, that must his
so
life must
there
suck.
there are several times in the comics he loses his healing factor. Um,
Right. So he I still don't understand how he like survived like Jean when she was the Dark Phoenix or whatever.
mm-hmm.
How he like survived all that. Because I mean I know his healing factor is crazy, but it's like I thought she could literally like blow up a planet.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm trying to remember. I think in the comics, I was thinking that he killed Jean. Maybe I don't remember. Now I'm gonna have to go back and look.
Bro, whose life sucked worse? Logan's or Peter's?
I mean, there
Because
it's a
any
it's a pretty big tie.
listen, dude, who made the Peter Parker?
Stan Lee did all of
Oh,
them.
Stan.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's
Well,
Stan
see,
Lee.
and that
That's
was the
right. That's right.
thing. So I saw an interview with Stan
Bro,
Lee a long time
Stan,
ago. He
and he loves Spider Man.
Well, here's the thing though: is when he created all these characters, he wanted these characters to have all these wonderful powers, but he wanted them to be, I mean, the Fantastic Four, for example, they were seen more as freaks. They were kind of like the first,
Mm-hmm.
superhero family. But when he created Spider-Man, he wanted Spider-Man to have deal with all of these teenage issues that a teenager deals with, a college student deals
Yeah,
with. He wanted the X-Men, he wanted them to have all these wonderful powers, but then he wanted the world to look at them as,
as the world would probably would, to be honest with you,
yeah, yeah. I
right?
mean,
Because I mean, they're stronger than us, and they have these abilities that are unknown to most people,
right?
right? so yeah, of course, we're going to be scared of things that we don't know or are unknown to us.
Well, I mean, even the
So
Hulk, you know, you have a man of science who is very intellectual, but can't solve his own problem of healing himself from the radiation, you know, the gamma
yeah,
radiation, and turning into this mindless beast that tears everything up, you know, and it goes on and on and on. I mean, even like Ghost Rider, you know.
yeah, his is a little bit more supernatural, but yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they dealt with like real world problems, and I mean,
Oh yeah, 100%.
they
That's
had.
I really
Um,
appreciate that.
I'm trying to think what else. Um, oh man, there was another hero that he talked about, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Well, I mean, okay, for example, you have Daredevil. Daredevil's blind, but he overcomes his blindness with, you know, his attuning to his extra senses, his other senses, and building
Yeah,
based off that. I mean, which Charlie is it? Charlie Fox? Is that his name?
Daredevil.
Yeah. Hold
No,
on,
I
I'm
don't think.
looking. No, Charlie Cox. That's what it was. Charlie Cox. He did a wonderful job portraying Daredevil. I mean, that was one of the, you know, and
Wait,
that's
which one? Wait, which one? Which
that
one?
was the Netflix one.
That was okay. Yeah.
The Netflix Daredevil
Oh,
was amazing. Well, he was in Spider
yeah,
Man. Yeah, he was in the latest Spider Man movie.
yeah.
He was Matt Murdock. He was the lawyer in
Uh
the in the latest Spider Man movie. But
Matt, Matt Murdock.
man, I tell you what though, you know,
Yeah,
with
yeah. He does. He does do a good job.
with all my gripes and everything, I kind of out of the way now with my woke griping. Um, BlizzCon is upon us, and like we talked about
This
earlier,
one.
you know, we got Maui in Overwatch. I think his name is actually Maga,
Yeah,
Mawa, maybe. I don't know.
Muaka.
Uh,
Oh my god.
he, I don't know if you watched the character trailer, but it was funny. He was like, you know, something about he was full of rage, and then he's like, now I've learned to work on myself and become the better me
So
that I
that's
know I can be. And he crashes through a window. He's like, I like to bring people together, and he grabs these two guys by the head and he smashes them together.
nice. Let's
It
go.
was awesome. But you
He
know,
looks fantastic, by the way. I
he
love his
does.
skin.
I'm excited. That's actually we told ourselves we were gonna only record for so long because we both are itching to dive in. Um, but with BlizzCon, we got a lot of information today. So new WoW expansion, and what they did was they did something they've never done before. They announced a saga. So the World Soul Saga, and within that saga, there are three. There are going to be three expansions. Now I don't know if the World Soul Saga is going to be one price for all three, or if they're going to make you pay, you know, knowing Blizzard, they're going to make you pay for three expansions. But none of that information is known yet, or I didn't see any of it. War Within is the first one we're getting. Cutscene looks amazing. You know, Blizzard always has great cutscenes. Even in their new
Oh yeah.
Warcraft Rumble game, I mean, the cutscene for Warcraft Rumble was even great. The intro cutscene. Um, but War Within starts off with Thrall coming to talk to Anduin and telling him it's time to quit hiding and to stand up and face the evil that's coming. So it looks like Thrall and Anduin's going to work together. I saw where new Diablo 4 expansion's coming.
They're all out there always
Oh,
getting
dude, I love
people to do
Thrall.
right.
Thrall
They're
is one of my
also
favorite characters.
he's got yeah. He actually got me into. He was one of the very first characters. Like I made an orc shaman. That was my first WoW character ever because I
Well,
wanted to be like girl.
I did the Orc Warrior because at the time I played, he was more of a warrior than he was a shaman.
Yeah.
Now And I do, Thrall being war chief when Garrosh picked up and become war chief, because that was during the Cataclysm. Because during the Cataclysm, that's when Thrall went back and went more to his shaman roots and married and possibly had kids. I don't remember. He's looking a little gray in the cutscene. Anduin's looking a little more gruff, a little more like his daddy. But it just, I don't know. I wish I had the time to get back in and play. I would have to give up so much to go back and play like I did before, and I just can't. I can't. I know I've talked to your brother a little bit about. I know we would love to play. What do you call it? WoW Classic. I'd love to play
the WoW Classic.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I can't
play some hardcore.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can get into it again.
Well, I mean, you got so many other things you got going on.
Well, and then with everything else, we got esports and all that good stuff, and
yep.
But and speaking of which,
I was about to say, give them a brief shout out right quick.
I'm excited. Confirmed. Our esports guys, you get our Overwatch team. Get shout out. We making playoffs. We are officially locked into playoffs. So I'm very proud of each and every one of them. They really have done well, and even our Smash teams. I mean, they've done really well. I mean, I think we're 12th and 14th in the state out of like 90 teams. So I mean, you should be proud of yourselves.
I mean, and still, I think we still have two weeks left.
Yeah, we have 2 weeks left. So I mean,
for a potential candidacy for playoffs.
Yeah,
so not out of the running yet.
No, I think they locked us in on Overwatch because we're ranked number 3rd. Yeah, and so
and
we're just
like taking down the previous number 3rd. So I actually got that spot. I mean, fought for it.
Yeah, we took it away from them.
Yeah,
but I'm
2 more that we're looking at.
I'm excited, man. I'm proud of them. I've just I want them to have fun, and I want them to progress and do their best. And if y'all want to give them a shout out, give them a shout out on the Dragon's Well, on the Twitter page or something. But
true.
Oh, that Diablo 4 expansion was called Vessel of Hatred. That's what it was.
Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah. That's...
yes. Every gluten-free food.
So...
Vessel of Hatred.
So we didn't talk about what we'd been playing. We hadn't done that in a while. How are you enjoying... just to wrap this up, something like... How are you enjoying Warcraft Rumble?
I have only played like just a little bit of it. It's pretty cool. See, so I know a lot of people liked was it not the Clash of Clans, but the Clash of Clans like game. I mean, made by the same people, but it was Battle Royale or whatever.
Yeah, right.
So I played that for a little bit. I wasn't like super big on it, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be kind of like that.
Yeah.
Which in a way it is. I really like. First off, it seems a little bit more smooth.
I like the variety that you have because I used to play a Transformers game like that. I don't remember what it was called, but where you essentially had like you moved from top to bottom. There was no obstacles. But what I like about Warcraft Rumble is there's little arrows and you can change the direction of which way you want your. So you can. There's a little more strategy to it.
Yeah. It's not as well. Like not only that, but I mean, first off, you're dealing with characters or like similar characters that are things that we have grew up with
when
it comes to playing, and so even if it's just like a generic-esque character, you're like, hey, I've still fought against a bajillion of these growing up, or I played this, or I had a clansman that was like this. You know what I mean? Like something like that, which I think is really cool. It is crisp. It looks really, really good. And there's just a lot more, when it comes to like mobile games like that, I'm actually not like super competitive. Like I'm normally pretty competitive, like a competitive gamer, right? Normally the games that I play are primarily, competitive related.
Yeah, y'all should play Overwatch with him. He gets pretty frustrated.
But when I play like phone games, a lot of them I don't play competitive because I'm playing on the go. So it's like I don't want to actually have to dedicate like that much brain power to what I'm doing.
Well, it has a PvP mode once you get far enough in.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is like you can like stick with it just for the PvE experience, and it seems like it's pretty extensive.
Well, I mean, it is where it's just like WoW
games like that.
I mean, and that's the thing that I think we liked about WoW when we played was that, I mean, I was very much into the PvE story, the lore, the various things that went along with that. But then I got into the dungeon crawling. And then I dabbled in PvP. Now, I liked the Battleground PvP. I did not care so much for the 3v3 PvP. Didn't think I was good enough for that. But, that's probably one of those things that's better with comms. And I just didn't, I didn't know enough people that played it to get on and do comms with. But, in saying that, I enjoyed the PvP aspect of it. I enjoyed the PvE aspect of it, the story and everything. And that's what I like about this is if I want to just run through the story and kind of, run through the little battles and stuff for the main game, I can. And if I want to play some PvP, I did play some PvP. Competition's rough, man. I'm going to try to play through this season because the season reward this season is Sylvanas. And, when they gave you the option to choose your hero that you wanted, like, they gave you 3 options. And as much as I wanted to kind of go Horde, they offered me a Paladin. So Tyrion Fordrin for the win, man. I had to pick Tyrion.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Tyrion is sick.
I dropped Tyrion down, and he's, like, slaying, ghouls with his sword. That's just awesome.
Hey, so it's funny that you say this. So a lot of the WoW characters that I've met were actually not in WoW because for the longest time I didn't have the ability to play WoW. Right? So
it's expensive. It's very expensive.
Well, like back then, I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have like the computer power, or like my internet was bad, or like non-existent at all.
Right.
And like you said, also there's the fact that it is expensive. Well, instead, I played Hearthstone, and I played a lot of Hearthstone. I used to be pretty competitive in that too. And so I would play a lot of Hearthstone, and Tyrion is one of the vanilla characters that you get at the for Paladin. And there used to be so many decks constructed around Tyrion that would just be like absolutely bonkers.
Dude, Tyrion is a beast.
There was this one style of deck that so what Tyrion does is like he costs, I think he costs like 6 or 7 mana, and he comes out and he's a 5/3, which for the stats are not very good, but he has what is called Divine Shield, right, which enables him to be able to take one or like an infinite amount of damage. Like he can soak up one hit, essentially, whatever the hit may be.
Right.
And so when he dies, though, it automatically equips his weapon, the Light Forger or whatever. Is it Light Forger or Lightbringer? Dawnbringer?
Oh, your brother's gonna give me a hard time about this.
I think it's Dawnbringer. I don't know, but you equip that
The Ashbringer
and
Ashbringer.
Yeah. And he would just you would just start smacking people with it. Well, there was this deck that particular trigger is what we call a death rattle, right? He has this ability. That ability is a death rattle. When he dies, he equips that sword to you. Well, there is like so many different combos in Hearthstone that you could do, but there's one in particular like that enables you to go ahead and bring him out for free, or enables you to kill him and trigger his death rattle, and immediately, like the moment that he hits the field, you get the sword as well.
Oh wow!
And it's just, dude, it's disgusting.
Well, there's only
And
one sword that is better than Ashbringer, and that is Frostmourne.
Oh, I thought you were talking about it like just in general. I was like,
no,
we going like the Buster Sword? Like, what are we doing?
The Buster Sword. Hey, that can be our poll for the week. What is the best sword
the best
in games?
In games. Good. I was about to say, like, don't give them like.
Dude, if somebody doesn't, if Frostmourne doesn't win, these people don't know what they're talking about. We've got fans.
Frostmourne's pretty cool.
Frostmourne is the sword.
I'll keep it a buck. I don't know if I would go Frostmourne though. I'd have to really think though. I'm not gonna make like a quick,
Well, here's the thing. It possesses the power to shatter and imprison the souls of its victims, and can remake the living into mindless undead. You tell me that sword ain't the best one. I'm bringing armies with the sword. That's what I'm doing.
But like, what if there's a sword out there? So is it just out of games or just in WoW?
Oh, I would say games.
Games.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, what does the Keyblade do? It unlocks hearts.
It's not even a real blade.
Wait, how you gonna stab somebody with a key?
Yeah. Hey, how you gonna unlock people's hearts when they ain't got one?
That's right. Mindless. Mindless creatures.
Heartless.
Zombies.
I ain't feel nothing. That's what happened.
Like that Family Force 5 song, Zombies.
That's like that's what happens when you have a cat as a pet, dude. Got that apathetic roommate, heartless. They don't care about nothing, dude. They're like, you pet me, but like for a lot of the time, and I'm gone.
That's right. They don't care.
But
that's why you get a dog. They love you.
Get it, dude, unconditionally. Mm-hmm. You come home, wife's griping at you, dog will never listen. I heard this joke one time. They're like, you really want to know who values you more? Take your dog and your wife, and you put them in the trunk, and you leave them there all day. You come back and open up the trunk. You'll see which one likes, or see which one loves the fact that you're home.
I'm not trying that. I mean, you are more than welcome to try that.
Yeah, no, I don't condone it, but I think it's hilarious when you think about the fact that like that dog would be so
happy to see you,
pumped, like just wagging its tail, and your wife was probably going, if she didn't suffocate, by the way, but
yeah, no,
she would for sure.
I guarantee you, I would be missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Missing report.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Help me find Mav3rick.
Mav3rick has fallen into the well.
Yeah.
Wife drowned him in the well.
Drowned him in the well. We found the dragon.
I'm down there with the dragon. The dragon has burned me alive.
Yeah, the dragon's like first time here.
Yeah. The wife has fed me to the dragon. Oh man. Well, anyways, guys, Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. We appreciate y'all listening. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook. All our socials. Man, I don't know. I keep really wanting to do video. I think what we should target for, what we should aim for, is like New Year, new podcast. Trying to get to YouTube, do some video, playing with it. Let these people look upon Mav3rick and Sprites. I mean, we may lose some people.
Or games.
They're like, hey, we like to listen to these people talk, but man, they ain't much to look at.
Boy. buddy out there, listen, I'll make sure and slouch while I sit too. So every comment down below would be like, why he out there looking like a whole busted can of biscuits? Hey, like the lunch lady asked today. She said, would you like a roll? I said, no, ma'am, I got some already.
That's right.
Already got me some rolls.
My rolls have risen, and I have become one big roll.
But people don't believe me when I say I got muscle underneath these rolls.
That's right.
I do.
I'm protecting it.
Yeah. Because they're kind of sensitive muscles, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
You gotta,
you gotta protect them
under wraps. Anyways,
coming out of that can like
a Jack in the Box.
Busting out of that can of biscuits.
Busting out of it. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys listening. Give us your takes. We asked a few different takes. I mean, which he'll probably, make a poll for us, on best sword, or, well, maybe not a poll, but, you guys just let us know what your best sword is.
Yeah, I might do a poll. I'll throw some swords in there.
We talked about a whole bunch of things, right? We talked about we talked about reminiscing on our favorite shows growing up, cartoons growing up. You let us know that your favorite cartoons growing up.
Yeah,
right. Ones that you really appreciate. You got the swords. So I even asked this question earlier, which I know we didn't go deep on it. I'd like to go a little bit deeper on it, maybe on a different podcast, or a different episode. But even breaking down like the best villain games, because I do think Spider-Man's up there, man. Yeah. Listen, Venom is cool as all get out.
Look, I say we look up an IGN list and we roast the fire out of that. We let the dragon set that on fire and we come up with our own.
I'm down. I mean, if they got one, but
yeah, I mean, if they're cool,
I'm always down to
roast some IGN
going, get the oven going. But anyways, guys, we appreciate you guys listening.
Absolutely.
We also, we want to remind you guys to, go ahead and give us a like, give us a share, give us whatever you can do to help out. We'd really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and hit us up on a prayer request or anything like that. We like to pray for our fans, or if y'all want to pray for us, we need prayer daily for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Often.
Yeah,
probably multiple times a day if you got it. But we appreciate it, and let's go end it right in a word of prayer. Father God, thank you so much for today, and God, we ask that you just continue to bless our efforts here with this podcast, Lord, that we can be uplifting, that we can be deliverers of this news, God, that we can give you all the honor and glory in all of it. Lord, that your Son be lifted up in our speech as well as our attitudes, our demeanor. Lord, we ask that you just continue to guide and direct each and every person that's listening, Lord. If there's one here that's kind of teetering on the fence of salvation, Lord, we ask that you just give them clarity on it. Let them know that Jesus is the only way to heaven, and that they can accept his free gift, just as simple as just going to him and asking for it. And so, God, we ask that you just continue to be with us, continue to bless us in a mighty way. Lord, we love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name we pray this. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out.